Good morning, children. Today we are on the last part, that's part 5 of our chapter 1, Geography, class 6th, Representation of Geographical Features. In our previous 4 parts of this same chapter, we have studied about the introduction of geography, about maps, globes, elements of maps, scales, etc. And all these things are the introduction to geography. In the last part of this chapter, from the last part, that's part 4, we were discussing about the representation of geographical features through diagrams. Some important features we have studied about anticline, syncline, about fold and folds, and along with that about block mountains, all these things. And we will study its continuation in the next coming chapters. And in this portion, in this fifth part, we are going to study about the topics related to rivers, tributaries, distributaries, meander, delta, and along with that estuaries, etc. So all these topics are related to rivers and its flow. We can call it in a simple term, we can call as a stages of a river and the features which we can see on the river banks. So we'll start the chapter. Rivers. Rivers is a stream of water which flows in a channel from high ground to low ground. Usually, we know that rivers always flow from highland to lowland. River ultimately falls to a lake, sea, or ocean. The origin of a river is called the source of the river. Then what is the place where the river join with the ocean or sea called? It's called the mouth of a river. The place where the river joins with the ocean or sea or a lake, we call it as the mouth of a river, and the place where the river originates is called its source. The course of a river has 3 stages. Usually it is called as the upper stage or the beginning stage, then the middle course. This upper course is also called the mountain stage. And the second one is called the middle course. Usually when the river flows through the plains. And when the maximum water will be concentrated in the middle course. And the last stage, that is the lower course, also called as a delta stage, in which the river divides itself into different channels and it finally joins with the water body or like ocean, sea, etc. So this is the way in which the river flows. Now see, we'll see a picture in which you can see the stages of a river. The river originates, you can see the river source, then waterfalls. Waterfall means we can say that it is a sudden descent of water from the height. Then the tributaries, small channels that joins the main river. Then a marsh we can say that it's a place where the rate of sediments, its sediment built up is greater. So where the sediments are deposited or the it's a flow for river. Usually we can say that the upper stage is usually very fast, and when it comes to the plains, the fast or the speed of the river slow down. Marsh, then Oxbow Lake, meander, all this we'll study in this part itself. So I don't want to go in detail. We'll study this in this portion itself. So you can listen that afterwards. Then floodplains, where the river deposits its sediments, and we can call floodplains as the most fertile part, and the most important work of a river is to make the land fertile, that we all know. And this floodplains are very fertile and it is used for agriculture. Then the delta, triangular tract of land at the mouth of a river. Then an estuary. Usually we can, in a simple term, we can say that it is a place where fresh water and the salt water comes together. So these are the stages of a river. Now let's watch a video. In that you can see about the stages of the river, different features which the river makes. All these things you can see in this video. So watch that.
Sources of a river. Just like water poured on a tilted tray flows from the higher end of the tray to the lower end, water flows from highland to lowland. Water flowing from highland to lowland over a long distance is called a river. The route through which a river travels is called the course of the river. The place where a river begins its journey is called its source. The source of some rivers is in the snow mountains. When the snow melts in summer, The water flows down the mountain in small streams. These streams join to form rivers. Such rivers are called snow-fed rivers. Now, what is the difference between a stream and a river? Some rivers depend on the rains for water. Heavy rains in the mountains, hills, plateaus form streams which join to form rivers. Such rivers are called rain-fed rivers. They do not have a single source but start from a particular area. Now, let's see different types of or stages of rivers and the rivers from the hill. Rivers flow through hills and mountains at a great speed. Over the year, the rivers break these rocks which is coming from the topmost portion. Huge stones break down and form soil while traveling through the water. Do you know what forms when a river falls over steep slopes from the hills? Let's see that. They break up into smaller particles. A river continues to grow bigger further in its course. As other rivers join it, these other rivers are known as tributaries. Some tributaries join the river in the hills, while some join it later when the river reaches the plains. Now let's see the rivers on the plains. The rivers now flows down the plains slowly as the plains are flat. They flow slowly because the plains are flat. In the plains, the river is heavy with the mud and sand which it carries while its journey from the mountain to the plains. The fine soil brought down by the mountains are called silt. During monsoon, water in a river fills beyond its capacity and it flows its bank causing flood. When the water dries up, the silt is left behind. Silt makes the land fertile, which is good for growing crops. Now let's see the mouth of a river. What is the mouth of a river? The place where the river ends its journey is called the mouth of a river. From here the river flows into a lake, seas or ocean. Some rivers carry more water and the mud makes it hard for the river to flow in one stream, so it's break into many small rivers to reach the sea or ocean. You can see the mouth of a river. Over the years, silt get deposited between the smaller rivers in the mouth of the river. This forms a triangular shape known as deltas. Some rivers do not form a delta and flow into the sea in a continuous stream. The mouth of such rivers is called an estuary.
So you have watched the video related to stages of a river. Now we'll move to the next part, that is the tributaries of a river. Tributaries, distributaries, meander, all these are other features which we can see near the rivers. Let's start with the tributaries. What is a tributary? Usually the tributaries can be seen at the upper stage and the middle stage. Stream which drains into a larger one is called a tributary. A small stream which originates from a mountain or from a lake which joins a larger one, we call it as a tributary. The place where the tributaries join the main river is called the confluence. So what's a confluence? The place where the tributaries join the main river is called the confluence. Now the tributaries does not flow directly into the sea or ocean. The tributaries join with the main river. The main river flows through the plains, and later, before joining the before getting to the final destination, the rivers again separate itself into different channels. We call it as the distributaries. Now we can see what is distributaries. A separate river channel is created when a river splits from the main channel. So from the river flow, when the river flows in the main channel for long distance, after that the water level also decreases, and the silt also gets increased. So the river start depositing its sediments at the side of the river and also at the middle. So it starts separating itself from the main river and start flowing in different channels. Distributaries carry its water to the sea, lake, or ocean. Distributaries are often found in the delta region. So we can say that these distributaries are usually seen at the lower portion, that is the last course of the river. Upper, not in upper and middle, it is at the lower course of a river. Now we'll see the next important topic of your chapter, that is a meander. What is a meander? We can say that meanders are the loops, usually called as a S-shaped loops or curves, formed in the course of a river. While the river flows, it forms some features, means it deviates from its original flowing direction due to so many reasons, and because of that S-shaped features are formed. We know that river never flows in a straight line. There are bends and curves are there. So such a feature we call it as a meander. They are S-shaped loops and curves. An oxbow lake is formed when a meander forms a complete circle and the river cuts across the neck of the land. So this oxbow lake is also formed due to the meander, and how it is formed I'll show you just now. You can watch it and understand it properly. Okay, so 1 minute, you can watch this.
Meanders. The course of a river comprises of three distinct parts. First is the upper or the mountain course where the river originates. Here, the velocity of the water is faster due to the steep gradient. The floor of the valley is narrow and the valleys are V-shaped. Second is the middle or the valley course where floors are wider and the sides of the valley are more gently sloping. Here, the velocity of the river is slower than the upper stage. Meanders are typical landforms found in this stage of the river. The third part of the river is the lower course, which has a gentle slope and is almost flat. The river channel is usually at its widest and deepest here, because the amount of water flowing within the river is at its greatest. Oxbow lakes are conspicuous features in the lower course of a river apart from the deltas where the river drains into seas. Now we will discuss about what are meanders and how are they formed. Meanders are formed in the middle course of a river. The rivers flow through almost a flat plain in the middle courses. As water flowing under gravity seldom flows straight for any long distance, a winding course soon develops. The irregularities of the ground force the river to swing in great S-shaped curves, forming horseshoe-like loops called meanders. Now let us see how a meander forms. The water in a river channel flows faster round the outside bend of a river due to centrifugal force, whereas it is relatively slow on the inside bends. The fast-flowing water on the outside bend erodes the river bank, whereas slow-moving water deposits sand and mud on the inside bend. At the site of erosion on the outside bend, a steep river cliff is created. The water piles up on the outside bend due to centrifugal force. A bottom current is set up in a corkscrew motion which deposits the eroded material on the inner bank, forming a slip-off slope. In the lower course of a river, a meander becomes very much pronounced. The outside bend gets eroded rapidly and the meander loop becomes almost a complete circle. Gradually, the narrow necks of the loop erode further and intersect each other. Now, the river cuts through the intersection to flow in a straight path. As a result, the meander loop is abandoned and it forms an oxbow lake. The oxbow lake later turns into a swamp and subsequent floods may silt up the lake. It becomes marshy and eventually dries up.
So you have seen what is a meander and how it is formed. Now we'll move to the
Meander.
next part of our chapter. Next one is delta. What is a delta? A delta is a triangular tract of land at the mouth of a river. Now it is formed by the silt carried by the river. How it is formed? It is formed by the silt which is deposited by the river on the middle of the river, and when that silt is deposited, the river after putting the silt or after depositing the silt, it separates itself into channels and it flows in two directions. So like that the river's delta is formed. When the river deposits the silt at the mouth of a river, it results in the creation of a triangular shaped feature, and that feature is called the delta. For example, the Ganga Brahmaputra Delta and the Delta of Mississippi. These are some examples. There are so many examples are there of delta. And another feature of delta is it's a triangular track and it's one of the most fertile part of a river. It deposits the sediments. Now you can see the delta here. The river is depositing silt. Because of that, it cannot flow through that silt. So it separates itself and started flowing in different directions. And finally, it reaches its destination. That's ocean, sea, or lake. Now you can see estuary. It is also another feature. Usually we can call it as a tidal mouth of a large river where the tide meet the stream. So it's a place where the fresh water and the salt water comes together, and the river which is coming, that the whole water it channels toward it's leading towards the ocean or sea. It's coming and joining the water. Usually we can see that it is found in the coastal region, and this estuary usually nourishes the sea. So it gives water to the sea. Now the next one is we can see that we have studied about snow-fed rivers. We have studied about rain-fed. What is a snow-fed, rain-fed, and all we have seen in that video. Rivers are different types. Some are snow-fed rivers. Some are rain-fed. Means some rivers originate from the snowfall mountains like Himalayas, for example Ganga river. Like that, rain-fed rivers are there, where we can see in the southern part we can see rain-fed rivers mainly get water, or its main source of water is from rain. Then waterfalls, a sudden descent of water, and all these things we have studied. Now we'll see some examples of this in India. So let's watch that. You can see this.
Let's see some examples. River Ganga is a snow-fed river. River Godavari is a rain-fed river. The highest waterfall in India are the Jog Falls in Karnataka. The Ganga and the Brahmaputra river forms the largest delta in the world called the Sundarbans.
Now let's see the last part. So we have already finished everything of our chapter. So let's see the last some questions I have prepared, means like from fill-up questions, and many fill-up questions and such type of objective type questions are there for in your exam, like choose the correct answer, fill in the blanks, match the following, name the following, etc. So very less chapters are there for your first semester. Just 2 chapters are there, so many questions will be asked from inside the textbook also. So just read the textbook and find the maximum fill-up questions from that. You can see some questions here as an example. The first one is, you can write this in your copy and you can learn that. The place where the river originates is called dash. The place where the tributaries join with the main river is called dash. Dash is the triangular shaped feature of the mouth of a river. Fourth question, the dash of the map is the ratio between the map distance and the ground distance. 5. A scale is the geographical representation of a scale on the map. A dash scale, what type of a scale is a graphical representation of a scale on the map. There are different types of scales are there, and in that, which is the graphical representation. Now the sixth question is, maps are used by the sailors and pilot. Dash map, which map is used by the sailor and pilots? Last one is, dash is the science of map making, and the people who are making maps and all we have discussed in the previous videos, and you can watch that. Doubts you can ask in comment box, and along with that, read your book and study well, and stay home and stay safe, and along with that, study well. Okay, thank you.